Welcome to Section 420, Talking Yankees, the podcast. Well, deja vu all over again. The Yankees drop Game 2 to the Houston Astros, similar to Game 1, very close score. This time, even closer, 3-2. Again, thanks to a big 3-run home run by Alex Bregman there. Again, in Yankee bats silenced by Houston pitching, which, again, was going to be the theme of this entire series. So we'll get into all that, but before we do, there's still plenty left to go in this round. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Or wherever you're listening to this right now, there's got to be a like, follow, something that says that you will get future episodes coming up. If there's a button or a thing that resembles that, click that, hit that, smash that, as they say, and get notified when new content comes up. Get wrap-ups after each game, after each series, and a little Yankees goodies, tricks and treats, and all that cool jazz. So nevertheless, the Yankees, again, after dropping the first game 4-2, you figure, all right, whatever, kind of, a little layover from the ALDS. The Yankees had to fly in. You got to get to check into the hotel and that stuff. And you figure you'll sleep at that first game. And not that I think that was the excuse, but nevertheless, you're kind of expecting to lose that first game is, not really the craziest thing in the world, except, especially when you were going to Tyone versus Verlander, even though Tyone kind of held his own in that game. Nevertheless, felt a little better with Severino on the mound, getting on full rest. Then put in a good performance in Game 3 against the Guardians. And again, this was probably the Yankees' best chance to upset the Astros. I mean, you figure, look, if you win this Game 2, you get a split, and then you take the next 3 games back in the Bronx, and there with your home field, maybe figure, let's take at least 2 out of 3 at home, and then go back to Houston just with a 3-2 edge. And then at the point, so similar to 2017, where it's like, all right, we just need to win either game 6 or 7. You put yourself in a good position. But now the Yankees are pretty much, I'm not going to say it's over in the series. I mean, things can still turn around. But now you put yourself in a position where, the Yankees have to basically win the next 4 out of 6 games. And against this Houston team, that just doesn't seem like just the probabilities that happen. This is not there. Just because the Yankees dropped its first 2. And again, during the regular season, the Yankees were 2-4 against this team. So there's nothing mathematically that makes it appear that the Yankees could be able to take the next 4 out of 6 games against this team, which, again, looks just far superior in every facet, whether it's the starting pitching, the hitting, and in the bullpen. Again, it's just going to take something quite monumental for the Yankees to crawl back in the series. But nevertheless, for the game itself, now, again, I mentioned before, Severino on the mound, and things were going along. I mean, again, had a dominating first inning there. He punched a couple of guys out, so you figure he's rolling along. But unfortunately, it all came apart in the third inning for him. Really wasn't his fault totally. I mean, Bregman, put some good wood on the pitch. It was kind of up and in. He kind of put a good swing on it. But unfortunately, it was just enough. And again, in that ballpark, the ball just seems to fly out. And that was basically Severino's undoing. So before the game started, now I like what Boone did with the lineup a little bit. I kind of figured that, we needed Peraza. I kind of mentioned that in the last episode just to give some life to this team, something. Again, now I figured maybe we'll do something. Put maybe Peraza at third base, or perhaps put Peraza at shortstop and then move Oswaldo Cabrera to third base there, just to get Donaldson out of the lineup, because he just looks terrible. He looks tired. He looks old. He just really looks washed up throughout this entire playoff run here. But then on left, so he puts Peraza in shortstop there, keeps Donaldson at third, and decided to have Cabrera out in left field. Again, we saw Stanton there in left field for Game 1, but of course against Framber Valdez, the lefty, you figured there was going to be no Matt Carpenter DH in this series. So figured, you kind of expect the Stanton to be the DH for Game 2. So again, all there, except Peraza was at shortstop. And I liked it. Peraza got tested early in the field. He made he had a diving play, and then later in the game, him and Gleyber Torres hooked up for an amazing double play there. So, I mean, he looked phased by the moment. Now, look, you would like to get something with the bat with him, okay, but other than that, I like the idea of Peraza there, and I think pretty much you're going to see that the rest of the way throughout this playoff run for the Yankees. Just because him being this brings some life and energy to this team, which is, again, this seems a little lagging, a little slow right now. I think possibly, I may toy with maybe, Kiner Falefa, who can play third base, and we saw a little of that in Game 1. Maybe put Kiner Falefa at third base because he can handle it moving forward, and just, have Donaldson just sit on the bench. And maybe if there's an opportunity that pops up later on, have him come off as a pinch hitter. Because the idea of what they use in this game of Carpenter to come off as a pinch hitter, I guess there's no choice, no one else available. Again, Hicks is not on the roster for this because he had the knee issue, and no Marwin Gonzalez. And, of course, DJ's unavailable. So I guess it wasn't the worst thing in the world to have Carpenter hit for Higgy. But Matt Carpenter, I don't know. He just, Game 1, he looked terrible. And this Game 2, swing didn't look better at all whatsoever. But nevertheless, we'll get there. So, mentioned before, so this really all came apart in the third inning there. Again, it started off with a hit by pitch on Maldonado. Now, Pena would single, so runners on first and second there. Now, Alvarez would hit a ground ball. Now, this was probably a key point. The Yankees weren't able to turn the double play, so they were able to get one out. But again, unfortunately, they were left 2 runners on. And, of course, Bregman comes up, hits the 3-run home run, and that was just basically the backbreak. I mean, that was the game right there. Just the way the Yankees struggling to score runs, and that's really the theme here is the offense. I put it on the offense more than anything. Put the Yankees in a 3-0 hole, which again seems monumental against that Houston pitching. Now the Yankees did answer back right after the top of the fourth there a little bit. Judge leads off with a single and got a little help from Houston in this one. Now Stanton hit a ground ball, come back right up to Valdez. Now Valdez tried to field it, throw it to first base there, but lost his footing a little bit. Threw the ball, a wild throw there. That allowed Judge to go to third and Stanton at second. So really, I mean, yeah, Yankees technically made contact on the ball, but it was really more Valdez's injury which led to the only Yankee offense in this game. And the Yankees would have a couple of just ground ball outs there to score the runners because they were at second, third, nobody out. So the Yankees were able to get those 2 runs in, bring the score within 3-2, which is reasonable. And then from there, Severino and the Yankee bullpen just kept the Yankees in the game. So again, that pitching hasn't been the Yankees' problem. Even game 1 really was the problem overall. It's just really couldn't get anything going with the offense. The best shot the Yankees had was in the 8th inning there. Now, another good move I like what Boone did in this game. He actually had Bader leading off just because he has speed. He's not your typical leadoff hitter, you would say, but again, he does get on base. He's probably been the Yankees' best hitter overall throughout this playoff run for the Yankees. So I like the move there, batting him leadoff in front of Judge there. Just figure maybe he could get on base a little bit, and he could steal a base. He could distract the pitcher a little bit, and maybe get Judge a good pitch to hit there. But does the next best thing in this situation. So he leads off the inning with a walk. So this you figure, all right, if the Yankees are going to do something now, top of the 8th, this would be the moment. And Judge just almost did it. So he took a ball, drove it to right field, and for a second they thought maybe this would have been out, and that would have given the Yankees at that point a 4-3 lead in this game. And that's probably figured, all right, this is the way and that would be the only way the Yankees are going to be able to steal some wins against Astros. It has to be something like that. Unfortunately, just about a foot or two short. Ends up on the warning track. It was an out there, a loud out, as I would say. Now Beta heads up baseball. Now you think this is a home run, he would be maybe trotting around second base. He actually had the wherewithal to actually go back to first base, tag. So maybe I guess he didn't think it was going to be a home run. Tag from first and get himself to second base. So at least put himself in scoring position there with 2 outs. And it's Stanton up, and you would think maybe this would be a good opportunity for the Yankees again, at least tie the game at this point. But unfortunately, Stanton really a disappointing at bat. Now he was ahead early, 2-0 in the count, would fall behind eventually, be ahead 3-1 there. And then, we got to give tippy hat to Brian Abreu there. Throws then, instead of just working, he was throwing some breaking balls in. Instead, he just pounded 2 99-mile-per-hour fastballs. The first one for the second strike was like right down the pipe. It's like, what are you looking for? I mean, it's right there. And then the second one, a little on the outside corner, but still for your Stanton, you got to be protecting the zone there. And he just stood there and took it like a statue. And Stanton would go down on a cold strike 3. Again, kind of devastating. So again, that was probably the Yankees' last glimmer of hope to do something in the game. And then, as I mentioned before, the final at-bat, Donaldson was able to reach on a walk there. So, again, his little contribution to the team there. So you had an opportunity with the Yankees, again, could have maybe, if they could get a big fly there, get a 2-run home run, could take the lead. But, with Higgy up, I understand, going to Matt Carpenter. Again, you don't really have any options. You could almost left Higgy in there. You could maybe have gotten the kind of Falefa, who we've seen kind of Falefa, during the regular season, get some big hits, some big singles in big spots late in the game there. But again, Boone decides to go with Carpenter. I just don't know the infatuation with him. Nevertheless, go with Carpenter, and he ends up striking out on a check swing there. Now, when you first saw that, you figured he didn't go at all, but on the replay, yeah, it did look like the bat went across the plane there. So the Yankees kind of go out and whimper, and again, Presley getting a second save during this championship series, and the Yankees are now falling in an 0-2 hole throughout this. And, it's just kind of, they had little moments there where they could have done something, but again, the Houston pitching's just been, just dominating the Yankee offense, and that's been the story pretty much overall. I mean, game 1, the Yankees struck out 17 times. This game, not as bad, but still overall 13 times. And again, if you're just not making the contact, putting the ball in play, there's not really much you could do there. And Judge gave one ball a ride. That's about it. Other than that, you're not getting the big stuff from him. Stanton came up in a big spot. He came up empty there. Rizzo, I wouldn't blame him for anything. I mean, he's been active. He's been on the base. He had a home run in game 1. Made some great defensive picks, at first base there. Saved some errors. So he's doing his job there. But you need the big guys. Judge, Stanton. You got to get something from them. Got to get something from Gleyber Torres. Otherwise, the Yankees is going out with a wimp. You can't just score 1 or 2 runs and expect to win these games because Houston's offense, which again, the Yankees pitching has done a good job overall, kind of holding them in check a little bit. But you got to score more than like 2 or 3 runs, and that's what the Yankees been doing. So, all right, so the Yankees get a game off, come back home a little bit, maybe blow off a little steam. Going with Nestor Cortez in Game 3 on a little bit of short rest, so probably going to be similar to Game 5 of the ALDS. He's probably only going to go about 5 innings, and then you're going to see the bullpen come in. And again, overall, the Yankee bullpen's been okay. I know you look at the Game 1, you look at Clark Schmidt there and gave up a couple of home runs. I put that more on Boone, if anything, just getting a little greedy there. You get Schmidt, he walks 2 guys, and he gets a big double play to get out of the inning. Should have put someone else in. He got ready because Schmidt had thrown a lot of pitches, but then he throws him out there in the 6th inning, and then he serves up a couple home runs, and that's the end of that Game 1 there. So I don't know. I blame a little bit more on Boone than Schmidt in that situation. But overall, the Yankee pitching, starting and relieving, has been good enough to win these games. They just need the bats to wake up, and they got to be making more contact, and they can't keep striking out in these situations. So we'll see what happens. So at this point, Houston hasn't announced their Game 3 start yet. Might be Christian Javier if I had to guess, but again, that kind of remains to be seen. But again, all their starters are pretty much tough on the Yankees, so it almost doesn't matter at that point. It's almost like pick your poison. But we'll see how they go. But for Game 3, now you might look if you want to look at some Yankee history a little bit. You look at the 2017 series versus Houston. Yankees almost similar fashion and almost similar scores. The Yankees pretty much shut down, lose the first 2 games in Houston, came back to the Bronx, won all 3 home games, and then went to Houston with a 3-2 lead. And of course, we know what happened there. Similar to what happened in Game 1 and 2, lost 2 closely contested games, and ended up losing that series. So again, the Yankees can get back in the series. It's not impossible. It's not crazy to ask for, but over the long haul, to expect them to win 4 out of these next 6 games, it's probably looking less likely that's possible just based on what we've seen so far. Again, Houston looks right now just superior in every way. So it's going to take something crazy. Them just having monumental collapses. Someone like Judge and this Stanton just hitting some big, 3-1 home run just to really put a crooked number up on the board. Other than that, then, the Yankees are going to be in trouble here. So let's see if they do that. Now, again, I think he's still going to see Peraza there at shortstop. Again, defensively, he looked fine there. Didn't skip a beat, made some great plays, some diving plays, some good throws there. So I think you'll see him move forward, but maybe they got to tweak something at third base. And with Matt Carpenter, I guess there's no other options really. Again, the Yankees pretty much have very limited left-handed at-bats there, but I'd almost maybe rather have like Tim LaCastro or someone else start if they're going to think of putting Carpenter there in the lineup, because again, his bat just looks really slow right now, and just I don't know, it's not a good choice. I don't know, but we'll see how that goes with the lineup. But nevertheless, the Yankees in a 2-0 hole. And if you want to go back to 1996, in that World Series against the Atlanta Braves, again, the Braves, you looked at them as a superior team. The Yankees were the underdog, and the Braves had Smoltz and Glavine and Greg Maddux and so forth. And the Yankees fell behind a 2-0 hole, and you figure, all right, there's no way the Yankees are going to come back for this. And they came back and won that series. So again, they can seem dead a little bit and come back, and the Yankees are close. It's not like they're way off. They're getting blown out in these games and have a shot. They're right there. It's just they need that something extra, which they're not getting right now. So let's see if they find that home in the Bronx. So Game 2 in the books. The Yankees in a 0-2 hole. But again, still got plenty of baseball left for them to get back into this. And make sure you subscribe to this podcast. So if you like this episode, if you didn't like it, still subscribe to it and get notified when new episodes come up. And we'll get a wrap up after Game 3. And hopefully a little better news. Hopefully Yankees can at least put a win on board in this American League Championship Series.